Hello and welcome to the Cannes Parallel Challenge 2024. My name is Arno.
And my name is Matt, and on today's episode, we will be paralleling Magnus Von Horne's film Sweat and his new film, The Girl with the Needle.
Magnus Von Horne is a Swedish filmmaker from Gothenburg, the same hometown as Ruben Östlund and PewDiePie. He's worked between Sweden and Poland, but also in Denmark for his last projects. All of his films so far have played at Cannes. The Hereafter played Director's Fortnight, Sweat was in the official selection during the COVID year, probably would have been Un Certain Regard, and now The Girl with the Needle is in competition. In his young career, he's so far been interested in following crime and criminal activity through various lenses. At least that seems to be the thematic through line so far. We both had not seen films from Von Horne, so this is a filmmaker discovery for us, and we decided to watch Sweat as many 2020 Cannes films were forgotten due to the lack of festival platform that year.
Sweat is a film about a fitness influencer as she does damage control over a video in which she cries and talks about how lonely she is in life. Despite her internet fame and her rock-hard abs, she just wants someone to connect with. It really gives us a sense of the lifestyle of a character that we might not consider much. We get to really pull back the curtain and see what this person's life might actually be like. Love them, hate them, however you feel about influencers, they are everywhere. They dominate pop culture nowadays, especially in film. Influencers just immediately have this sort of bad reputation and are often treated in movies as stupid, egotistical, or just downright parasitic.
Definitely a very different portrayal of influencers than Ruben Östlund's Triangle of Sadness.
I also think about like horror films nowadays. There's going to be an influencer character who is going to die horrifically because it's funny, I guess. But what I love about Sweat is that it provides nothing but empathy and graciousness to its main character. She is a well-rounded person, and she might have her face buried in her phone and is making sure she gets the perfect caption for every post. She might be broadcasting a fake persona, but she's a real human being. And if film is this empathy machine, it's amazing to see a movie that goes out so far to provide empathy to someone that many other filmmakers would write off as an idiot.
For sure, I think it's clear that this isn't a film that was conceived purely to diss influencers or make fun of them. The main character is not all that caricatural as much as she is taking cues from real-life influencers. Her calling the food box service to ask for more eco-friendly options is certainly funny, but you do see the human being behind that as well. And so what is the goal of this film then if it is not to have an opinion on this character? Part of it is to talk about loneliness in our time, but I think it becomes evident in the last 30 minutes what this film is about. And this is a film about boundaries. The line between reality and social media, the line between consent and violence, and the line between ambivalence and decisiveness. This is hard to discuss without going into spoilers, but something happens in the last 30 minutes. And to me, this is when the film went from good to great. When you realize the moral dilemma that Sylvia faces, it becomes a lot more engaging.
That moment that you're talking about is so strong. Film is at its best when it makes us go into that moral gray area, when it makes us extend, again, empathy to people that we might not often. And in this case, we get to see the protagonist herself extend empathy to someone that she could very easily not care for whatsoever. It just brings the film into this moral territory that just makes us question our own stance in the world. It's a brilliant choice in the plot because it definitely brings more of these themes of boundaries out, and I really loved it for that. And gotta say, her performance, she is magnificent. She extends the character the same empathy and understanding that the filmmaker is giving her, and the vulnerability she plays this character with, it's just impossible not to want to give her a hug and tell her that everything's gonna be okay.
I echo your thoughts on the empathy, although I think one of the biggest strengths of this film is that it doesn't ultimately settle on a moral answer, right? It keeps things ambiguous as to what the right is and what the wrong is. And I think the very end of the film kind of keeps things in this gray area, as you say, as we're not completely sure what she's taken away from everything that's happened before. But I do agree that this is a very strong performance and one that feels very multi-layered. The Girl with the Needle is set in Denmark after World War I and is loosely based around one of Denmark's most infamous criminal trials. I won't say more in case you don't want to know what the crime is, but the film follows a young woman living in poverty who takes a job as a wet nurse for an older woman. This woman operates a clandestine adoption agency which hides a darker secret. The film stars Vic Carmen-Son, which you may know from Holiday and Godland, and also Trina Dryholm, who was the lead of Queen of Hearts. I think this has huge prize-winning potential, maybe even the Palme. It has a cinematic look in black and white.
Shot by the same cinematographer who did EO, which is very, very exciting.
It has a socially important subject, a story that is bound to shock and is prone to discussion, and a new and exciting filmmaker. This could also just settle for actress the way Holy Spider did 2 years ago, but something about this just makes me think it has the full package.
I do remain unconvinced that this could be the Palme, as you say. I just feel like that might go to someone a little bit more established, but this could take a close style Grand Prix. And when I am thinking about broader contenders at BAFTA, at the Golden Globes, and at the Oscars, this is one that looks pretty juicy for that.
In the next episode, we return to British realism with director Andrea Arnold's first film, Red Road, and her new film, Bird, with Barry Keoghan.
So join us as we lap up her films like Barry drinking bathwater.